from the deep, dark hollows of Knott County, Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, not so quiet. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of Appalachia Not So Quiet. I'm your host, Hillbilly Phantom. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and lovely wife,
Appalachian shade.
How are you, darling?
Cold.
Cold. Yes, it's been very cold today. Yeah, we got a few flurries kind of spitting around out there.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you happy, I know.
It does. Drives that Christmas spirit. I don't have to wait till December.
Yeah, the first snow, that just gets you in that Christmas mood.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I can't argue with that.
It's definitely made me burst out some Ralph Stanley Christmas Time's Coming. So.
Yeah, you've been humming and singing little Christmas songs all day, but it's still November. Let's wait on the turkey.
This is first Christmas, and the next month's the second Christmas.
This isn't Lord of the Rings. We don't have first breakfast and second breakfast. There is something kind of magical about snow in the Appalachian Mountains.
And then the Christmas tree, it's like during Thanksgiving, just makes it more festive and exciting, mixing them together.
Having the Christmas tree up for Thanksgiving.
Yes, makes things
more festive.
It does.
You're celebrating Thanksgiving, not Christmas.
But it just makes everybody more happy and giving and jolly.
So our thing was we would have Thanksgiving dinner, and either that evening or the next day, that's when Mom would put up the Christmas tree.
We used to go on Black Friday shopping. We always had the tree up. We didn't have time to do it because we'd be shopping all weekend.
Well, I mean, yeah, she would always go out and try to grab the deals for the Black Friday stuff too. It was usually the evening after dinner on Thanksgiving, that evening, or the next evening.
But Black Friday shopping ain't no fun anymore.
No, it's not.
You don't wake up at 4:30 a.m. waiting to bust in the door and fight people.
Yeah, we did it rough and tough, our Black Fridays. There was a couple times I got up like 2-3 o'clock in the morning and went and stood in line at Walmart.
Fighting people over a Tickle Me Elmo.
I don't even remember what I was after. It's like one of those hot items they only had so many of.
I remember going to Black Friday and one of my little brothers wanted to Tickle Me Elmo and literally having to fight people.
You were one of those people, huh?
Yes. Well, I mean, I didn't like have a knockout drag out, but, running there bumping elbows with people.
Yeah, trying to shove people out of the way to get to it. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I did. Just kind of pushing past people, keeping those elbows up. I never had to throw fists or anything either, so I wasn't going to be that desperate for any item.
So see, Christmas is tied in with Thanksgiving because you got to go out and Black Friday shop.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's after Thanksgiving.
I know, but it's all tied together.
Moving on.
Okay, the Santa Claus part of Christmas can be tied in with Thanksgiving.
Because of the parade?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean.
But as far as biblical, the birth of Christ, that is separate from Thanksgiving.
Right.
That's the way we kind of do things.
But that's what it's all about.
He's the reason for the season.
But you want to start all the Christmas trees and Santa Claus, all the pagan rituals, you want to start those early.
Those 2 months are completely about family and being together and just tie it all together.
Okay, well, I mean, I get that.
Because Christmas is like 2 days. I know that, but like with the hustle and bustle of work and all that stuff, like you kind of expand it and get to spend more time with your family, it seems. Does that make sense?
Not really.
It does to me because I just like to be with everybody for long periods of time.
Yeah. I mean, I understand, but let's just keep the holidays separate. Okay. It doesn't have to all be Christmas.
Well, when I say go get my decorations, you will go get them. Or I will go get them and tools, and then you will
And then
come
I'll have to
in.
take them from you so you don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, and then you have to fix my
And
decorations.
I'll have to do it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I said, moving on. So on this episode, we're going to talk about something we've touched on a few times, but we've never went really in depth. And that's mainly because Shade is not a big fan of aliens.
Especially the gray ones with the big eyeballs.
You don't like any aliens.
I was traumatized as a young child. First of all, E.T. freaking terrifying. Like
You found E.T. terrifying?
I did. My sister had one of the ET dolls, and it was like a leather one, like the leather ET dolls.
Was
It
it the one
smelled
where
funny
it's
to.
was the one where its neck's like stretched up?
Yeah,
And
yeah. It wasn't like the big one, like a big one, but it was like a, I'd say 14-inch tall.
yeah,
It was just creepy. And it smelled funny.
it smelled.
And then I watched the movie, and then all these things started coming out, like unsolved mysteries of people being abducted by aliens, or they
Yeah,
were like coming into their homes and stuff like that. And they
yeah.
would show them like the grays and all this.
Some of their recreations were pretty darn creepy.
And then my experiences myself seeing stuff in the sky. So yeah, aliens are real.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We've talked about before uh, some of our personal experiences with strange things in the sky, strange encounters with things we can only say are alien,
Mm-hmm.
unidentified,
Terrestrial,
beyond this world,
mm-hmm.
or at least beyond our understanding.
Or of this world that we don't know about.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories. So I don't know if you remember, there was a set of books. I believe it was Time Magazine, maybe, released this set of books that was all about like unexplained things. It was like the mysteries of the pyramids, and then they had an alien one.
I want to think I vaguely remember seeing those in the library. By the time that they came out, I wasn't old enough to like read them or understand. I was still in like the
Yeah, this would have
Ben,
been.
Ken, and Jan kind of books. 3-letter word.
Yeah, this would have been like probably late 80s,
Yeah.
maybe even early 90s. There was commercials. You
Mm.
could order these books. It's like if you got a subscription to Time Magazine or whatever, you got the initial book free. And then for so much extra, you could get the other books. Well, I remember being fascinated by these books. I'd see them on TV, and they're talking about, you know, mysteries of the pyramids and things. Well, we ended up with one somehow, but it had all kinds of alien stuff in it. And it was like military, supposed stories of the military
Encounters with.
having encounters,
Yeah.
with UFOs and things. So, straight from a young age, I'm interested in aliens. And of course, you've got the Hollywood effect. There was all kinds of cool alien movies. I liked the Alien, Ridley Scott Alien movie and some of its sequels. And then, of course, you had like Predator. And I was always into Star Wars and Star Trek, all kinds of different alien races and those.
And that's another one I'm scared of. You're talking about Star Trek, the Klingon guy with
Yeah,
the smushed up face.
Lieutenant Worf. Yeah.
That terrifies me. Wake up in the morning and see that on the TV like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Which has happened to you.
Yeah. So.
Because I like to watch that show when you're not awake.
That scares the hell out of me. You can go ahead and laugh at me all you want to, but he had a tore up face. And it's scary.
It's just the makeup, honey.
I don't care. His face tore up and it scares the hell out of me.
Anyway, so when I'm in high school, internet is in its infancy, and I start hearing about a radio program called Coast to Coast AM. Me and a few of my friends kind of get into it. We actually listen to a few of the radio shows. Very interesting stuff. A lot of the clips made its way onto the internet, and we would download them and listen to them. So I got to hear a lot of alien stories throughout my life. And then, of course, when I was working night shift driving for Krispy Kreme, delivering donuts, that was kind of my companion on those nights was the radio. And of course, I found a station that carried Coast to Coast AM. So I got to hear even more UFO tales. So aliens have always been kind of a big interest of mine. Now, of course, you've got your famous UFO sightings that just about everybody knows. Back in the 40s and 50s, it was kind of the beginning of the modern UFO era. The most famous, of course, is Roswell. That's kind of considered the biggest UFO story probably in the world, where a mysterious crash in Roswell, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up sparking decades of conspiracy theories because at first it was a flying disc. Like that was the reports everywhere. The few people that saw it and the military that initially arrived from the local base all said flying disc. Well, of course, within a few days,
Oh no, no.
no, it's a weather balloon. And of course, that story has blossomed over the years. More and more information has been found. Now it's suggested that it's actually a part of it was part of a secret military project called Project Mogul. There's the 1952 incident in Washington, D.C. That's one that actually doesn't get talked about enough. But it was pretty crazy. All these different radar operators and pilots saw these bright objects flying right over the Capitol. And that's when the famous Project Blue Book began.
And Truman's like, I want to know what this is. Tell me
Right.
now.
Yeah.
So, demanding answers.
And then in the 60s and 70s, it's considered the abduction and contact era.
Yeah, the Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah, Betty and Barney Hill abduction. Very famous abduction case.
That was the one that's like been the most studied.
Yeah.
Of all of those.
Right.
All
I can't remember how many times they took a polygraph.
They took a polygraph test.
From all these different people.
Hypnotized.
Yeah.
What else was done?
A lot of the information they got was from hypnosis.
Mm-hmm. And they had missing time, like time lapse and stuff. They're like, we don't know what happened from this time to this time.
Yeah. And of course, later on, 1975, you had the famous Travis Walton abduction in Arizona. He's the logger that disappeared for 5 days. And when he finally showed back up, he claimed that he was taken aboard a UFO and experimented on, which of course became very famous when it was turned into the movie Fire in the Sky.
Oh, and then you have the 1955, the Kelly Hopkinsville.
Yeah,
County, the green.
Yeah, the
green
famous
man.
one. I missed that one. Yeah.
Yep. And also the Pascagoula abduction in Mississippi in 1973.
Oh, yeah.
Where 2 shipyard workers claimed robotic gray beings took them aboard a craft while they were like night fishing.
You don't hear that often. They described them as robotic. That's weird. Maybe they were wearing like suits or something. And then, of course, you move up into the 80s and 90s, and that's when we started having more like mass sightings. In 1980, you had the Rendlesham Forest incident, which actually happened in the UK, but it was on a U.S. military base or near one. So it involved U.S. servicemen.
Mm-hmm.
Where they encountered a strange metallic craft. And if I remember correctly, one of them actually touched it. He got knocked unconscious for a while.
Weird.
Yeah. 86, Alaska, Japan Airlines, Flight 1628. They observed a huge craft flying over Alaska, and the radar confirmed the unknown object nearby. And of course, another famous one. This is one of the ones that, when we would listen to Coast AM on the internet, me and my friends, this is one of the things they were talking about because it had just happened. In 1997, the Phoenix Lights, thousands of people witnessed this massive V-shaped formation of lights moving.
It was just military flares. What are you talking about?
Military flares. It's swamp gas. And then you move up to present day, the 2000s on up. This is considered the disclosure era because we've had so much new information that the government has relinquished and allowed the public to view. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
We have these stories we know a lot about now, like the USS Nimitz, the Tic Tac encounter, where they had a small Tic Tac shaped object. They have video, and we can see that now because the military released it. Caught actual footage of this like pill shaped object performing just impossible maneuvers. Impossible for any kind of aircraft that we have.
Probably impossible for anything man made to do.
Right. Yeah, it defied the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Not long ago in 2021 is when the U.S. intelligence reports started coming out on UAPs,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging over 140 unexplained incidents.
And those were leaked by the Navy and the whistleblowers.
Yeah.
And then they actually had congressional hearings.
Yeah.
That
that's
was
what-
interesting.
Yeah. We know all this is, real stuff now. And of course, most recently, we've had them say that they are going to take this seriously and they're going to be very open about these craft, these encounters that the military has. So that's just kind of a basic rundown of,
There's still several more.
yeah, there's many, many more. But that's just some of the popular known about encounters with UFOs and aliens. Now there's endless speculation about what these things could be. What is actually happening? Are these alien spacecraft showing up to Earth from distant galaxies? Is it, these alien beings observing us, checking us out, anal probing us?
I just wonder how they can come into the atmosphere without us noticing or hearing them. Because a spaceship comes back or space shuttle comes back in, like you can hear a sonic boom and things like that.
Most of these objects have been observed to move at these incredible speeds
Mm-hmm.
and not create a sonic boom. They are silent. But still yet, in modern day, we have all these satellites, all this detection equipment.
And none of them's ever detected them.
And
It's like they've never just taken a picture of them in space.
Most of the time it seems like they are able to avoid it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's not how they're getting here.
Right. Maybe they're coming from the ocean.
Yeah. Maybe they're already here because there's just as many accounts of seeing these things flying around in the skies. There's just as many accounts of seeing these things under the water, coming up out of the water, going into the water. It's pretty incredible. So are these things like living down in the earth under the water somewhere?
Because the ocean, there's billions of places that's never been discovered yet.
Yeah, we've
and there's depths that we as humans can't reach.
Yeah, less than 0.001% of the deep ocean seafloor has been directly observed by humans.
Right. And yet we're worried about outer space. So.
Only about 27.3% of the entire seafloor has been mapped with modern technology. So that's significantly more ocean that remains to be explored.
And you think about like sometimes these weird fish that wash up on the sea, off into the beaches and stuff, they look like aliens of some sort.
Yeah.
They're very creepy looking.
Yeah, sometimes
from the
they're
deeps. So
Yeah.
if they look that strange, imagine what's further in there.
Yeah. Or could even be, on down in the earth.
Yeah.
Maybe
something's beyond the water.
Yeah. There's caves and stuff all over the place.
So there's like a depth that only that humans can go to before like it starts crushing and causing things to implode.
Yeah, we can only go so deep.
Right, but is that maybe a realm that we can't get through?
Yeah.
And then on the other side,
they're finding a new way with modern technology. They're finding new ways to go deeper and deeper. But yeah, some of the deepest parts of the ocean, we'll probably never be able to see them.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not within our lifetime.
Right. It just makes me wonder, like, just your basic pond that somebody has in their front yard. At times, if it's not getting adequate oxygen and things like that, it can flip. Like the oxygen will go to the bottom and the hydrogen will come to the top, and they call the pond is flipped and it kills all the fish and they float to the top.
Okay.
So why hasn't the ocean done that, or will it do that?
Well, I guess it's a ecological balance type of thing. And if you don't have a proper balance in a pond, it's kind of like a fish tank.
I know, but I'm just saying.
But just a really big one.
Just makes you wonder if, like, there's, like I said, something on the other side of that, the crushing, imploding part that we can't get through. So.
Well, I guarantee it. There's a lot more down there that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. The ocean is very vast and mysterious, and so is space. And that's why they're the two biggest unknowns to all of us, to mankind.
I understand that. But like we're not finished discovering everything on Earth. I don't understand why we need to go up. Because that's even bigger.
Well, yeah, but we assume that if there is other intelligent life out there, that it's probably out in space on another planet. The idea that it could be right here on Earth underneath our oceans or something, that seems a little wonky because it seems like there would be a lot more encounters of these things out on the ocean.
But now technology is advanced so much that we are now able to explore more onto the ocean other than just the shorelines
Oh, yeah.
over the years. So now there will be more encounters. Years ago, there wasn't people flying in the air. There wasn't people sailing on the ocean.
Right. Yeah. That actually brings up another point. I've heard stories, I've read about stories from, the settlers, people who were traveling west and seeing these strange things in the sky. Now, back then, there wasn't any light pollution. We didn't have satellites and space stations and,
Right.
planes and all that flying around the sky. So if you had a cloudless night, you could see everything, the whole galaxy, just about.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. There's a few places you can still do that. Not many, though. Not many are left. But these people would see things, and obviously, in a world like that, you're going to notice if something in the sky moves,
Mhm.
because, like I said, you don't have all this modern technology floating around. So back then, it would have been very easy to see something moving around. But nowadays, we have all this stuff in the sky. If anything is coming in and out of our atmosphere, you think it would see it, but we're not really getting a lot of that either. So can these things cloak? Can they turn invisible?
Or is the government just not telling us what they're seeing? Again, I'm just saying.
Could be.
They're actually seeing it, but they're not. Nope.
Right. They actually are detecting them coming in. I mean, it's possible, but there's enough amateur people out there with telescopes and things. You think there'd be a lot of them seeing them. For as many UFO stories as there are people who have seen things, there's still not as many as if, like I said, they were right here with us. It seems like we'd be seeing them all the time. But maybe not. Maybe they're just really good at hiding. Like I said, maybe they cloak. Maybe they can turn invisible somehow. They only let us see them when they want us to. Or
Right.
sometimes we see them even when they didn't want us to. Weren't expecting it. And that's why they zip off real fast. They're like, oh crap, they caught us.
But I still speculate the government's hiding something
Oh,
still.
yeah.
Because they were, years ago, be like, oh, that's a weather balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, you're crazy. You didn't see anything.
Well, it's
So,
been, conspiracy theorists have really been racking up the wins.
and when they can tell
over
me
the last several
what is in
years.
Area 51.
Yeah. Well, see, I heard stories many years ago about how a lot of the stuff that was at Area 51, this top secret stuff, possibly alien bodies or alien crafts, that it was all moved because Area 51 got too popular. Too many people were
Trying to get in.
looking at it. Yeah. Coming out there to the, where the signs were that was like, do not go
Right.
beyond this point or whatever. Too many people were investigating and looking into that place. But you're probably right. I'm sure the government has more information than what they're releasing. That's the way it
Not-
always goes.
I don't think it's like to just keep us uninformed, but maybe just to keep us from worrying.
Keep us sane.
Yeah, not be like worried all the time
Yeah.
what's out there.
'Cause, yeah, if they let us know everything, it might be too much for us to handle.
Mhm.
I can see that. That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
But either way, that leaves us wondering, what are these things?
Right.
Where are they coming from? In the case of space, right now we have that massive object, the 3-eye Atlas,
Yes.
the third interstellar object
Whoever.
to ever be observed coming through our solar system. And the initial images of this thing, I mean, it looked kind of like a box, maybe even like a pill-shaped craft. The way the lights were coming off it looked like it had its own illumination. It didn't behave at all like any of the previously observed comets and things like that. They usually have a little bit of light, but it's coming off like their tail section.
This is coming from inside.
Yeah,
like-
this is coming from all around it, like it
Yeah.
has lights on it. And the only thing that can explain that would be some kind of vessel, a ship. And unlike other objects that have kind of come through our system. It doesn't seem to be bound to the sun anyway. It doesn't have a
Right, it's not in the gravitational pull to rotate around the sun.
right. It doesn't have a hyperbolic orbit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call it, hyperbolic orbit. So yeah, it's not bound to our sun in any way. It's just like passing through, and that seems
Going
really
wherever it wants to.
yeah, and that seems really weird. And yeah, and it's moving. It's like changing trajectory.
Right. And they say when it's changing direction and stuff, like the color of the lights and stuff are changing as well.
Yeah, the colors
So,
change and the position of them changes, indicating that we're observing the object from a different angle or something.
so there's like more, and it would, if it's like one solid color of light, you could assume it's just like certain gas, like hydrogen or methane or something like that. But if it moves different directions, then the light's changing. The gas can't change with direction.
Yeah, and
So,
I mean, and this thing is huge.
yeah, they said it's as big as
Yeah,
Manhattan.
it's the size of Manhattan. That is massive for some kind of comet, meteor, asteroid, whatever.
Yeah, they said it estimated to measure between 320 meters or 5.6 kilometers. It stands among the most massive beyond our solar system.
Yeah, and thing was detected, and the previous two interstellar objects that they have detected was with the new James Webb telescope.
The Hubble telescope.
Well, they took pictures of it with the
Yeah.
Hubble as well, but the James Webb Space Telescope is what discovered it. And it was able to measure like the gases coming off of it, and like the CO2 and H2O coming off of this thing was unusually high compared to most known comets. So everything about this is different from what they previously thought they knew about space objects.
H2O.
Yeah, that's water. So like ice and things, I guess. Tracking this thing, they kind of figure it's just passing through.
Right.
And it's just gonna come in and it's just gonna go out, and that's it. So they're trying to do all the observations they can on this thing. Now, I believe you were just telling me that we may be getting some new information about it because apparently NASA has not been operating during the government shutdown.
Right. They work for the federal government, so they've been
Yeah.
closed down and they have observed stuff and they haven't been able to release it to public knowledge.
Yeah.
So
So we've got a bunch of new information on this object, hopefully.
So maybe we'll get some answers this week.
Yeah.
It'll give us an update.
Yeah, now that the government's going to be back open, yeah, maybe something new will come of 3I Atlas. Now, of course, the scientific community is treating 3I Atlas as just a normal, natural, interstellar comet, asteroid type of thing. But even they have said in their press releases and things, possibility of artificial origin, while remote, cannot be dismissed purely because the basis of current observations, which means, just like we were saying, the lights, it moving of its own accord, the strange amount of gases it's given off, they can't say that it's not some kind of artificial creation. But there's even claims, people have been claiming that they've been getting signals from this thing. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but supposedly they claim that the Fibonacci,
Just butcher it.
I can't say these words. Fibonacci pattern radio signal coming from 3I Atlas at 1,420 megahertz. So they think they're actually getting some kind of radio signal from this thing.
I know years ago there was like years and years ago a radio frequency they thought they heard coming from space.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the wow
Yeah.
signal. Yeah.
So and they're saying that this 3I Atlas is coming from that location. It came from that location.
Yeah, they said that if they're correct about, it's going along a projected trajectory for the most part, and there's no, gravitational manipulation from the sun, no orbit related to the sun, then this thing came from that same area of space where they got the wow signal, which was just a big spike of some kind of radio signal. It lasted, I don't even remember. It wasn't long.
I think it was like 50 seconds.
I don't remember. I don't even think it was that long. It was really short.
It lasted for 72 seconds. satellites.
72. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't know it was. That is a
Yeah,
wow.
that's how long the Big Ear telescope could observe one patch of sky as the Earth rotated.
Okay, so it got the signal the entire time.
Mhm.
It was observing that
Yep.
section of space. That's pretty incredible. But yeah, it's called the wow signal because when they first detected it, came out on like a big printout,
Mm.
like the old dot matrix printouts, and the guy wrote "wow" over top of the big jump in the graph
And
of
they've
the.
never been able to detect
Yeah,
anything since then. So.
they pointed towards that region of space 100 times since then
Mhm.
and never got anything until now.
Right.
All of a sudden, here comes 3-Eye Atlas out of that same region of space. So possibly could be a craft.
That's what a lot of people are speculating.
Yeah.
Because you see it all over TikTok all the time. People are like, aliens are about to abduct our Earth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. A lot of people went crazy about it. It doesn't seem to be doing anything that would warrant any kind of, freak out.
yeah, I think they're just checking things out.
But yeah, I think December, so next month, this thing will be in the closest proximity to Earth. It'll be like 270 million kilometers or something
Yeah, you won't be
from
able
the
to see it
Earth.
with the naked eye.
No,
Yeah,
no,
to have
it,
to have a
yeah,
telescope.
yeah,
So.
yeah. You'd have to have a pretty good telescope, I'd
Mhm.
say, because that's pretty far out there.
Yeah,
But
they can see us, but we can't see them.
yeah, probably.
Well, we can. They just don't know it. So we can't see them.
Yeah, we'll see them coming.
Not all of us, anyways. Just those fancy scientists with their big fancy telescopes.
Yeah, I don't know what this thing is. It's very strange. Maybe we can pull some screenshots, some of the things that they've released so far to put up on the TikTok for anybody that may have not seen that stuff. It's very interesting. I mean, even as a interstellar object, it's interesting,
Yeah,
the
because
information we might learn from it.
it just being the third to ever
Yeah. The
be
third one
discovered. Yeah.
we've ever been able to observe. But the idea that it could be an alien craft, that's even more intriguing. So are you on the alien craft from outer space?
I hope it's just a meteor. I hope it's just a meteor.
Yeah, if it is aliens, I hope they're good ones.
My doctor's gonna have to up my anxiety medicine if it is aliens.
Well, that just brings us back to, what exactly are these things? Are they creatures from another planet? Are they right here on the planet with us already?
Are they fallen angels? Are they demons?
Yeah.
Are they
There's
spiritual?
endless explanation. Are they dimensional? Could they be coming from another dimension? I've always been on board with the biblical aspect
Supernatural?
that, maybe these things are the beasts, the demons, and things that are talked about in Revelations.
Could be.
I always felt, as a believer in the gospel and obviously Revelations, I always felt that aliens had some kind of connection to that. And like I said, they could possibly be the bad guys, the part of the army of Satan or the Antichrist or whatever.
Could they possibly be the Nephilim?
The fallen angels.
All Nephilim are bad. So these are the ones that came to Earth and bred with humans.
Right.
So
Yeah. Basically the fallen angels, the ones who fell from heaven, they
Mhm.
were kicked out by God after they tried to rebel, right along with Satan. They end up on the earth, and yeah, they bred with humans and created the Nephilim. The Nephilim were these giants, these just huge creatures that were supposedly, kind of like man in
Yeah,
looks wise, but they were just gigantic and
right. Kind of
powerful.
like Goliath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Goliath is typically thought to be a Nephilim, I think, or at least maybe a descendant of them.
And then we come to the Noah's Ark portion. That during that time frame, it's kind of like when this happened that they were coming
Yeah,
down and
was that
sleeping with the humans.
that was all part of
Um,
God taking care of that.
and to completely deplete that, because as a child, I was always told it was because of, and it still could be about men and women sleeping together, man and man sleeping with each other, and woman sleeping with each other, and then there was people sleeping with animals and all that. That's
Oh yeah,
we were taught in the church is wrong, and that's why God, deleted
yeah,
all human life except for Noah's family.
yeah. Sin was rampant
Yeah.
upon the
So,
earth,
but also during that time is when then, fallen angels were here and mating with people. So he
making the
had
Nephilim.
to also get rid of that because
Yeah,
that was a sin because angels of, a different realm weren't supposed to be mating with
with
human
humans,
life.
right?
Yeah. So that,
Yeah, they created abominations. The Nephilim, I think, were pretty much considered to be
yeah.
abominations upon the earth.
But anyway, so the earth was flooded and now all that is it still underwater?
Ended up under the water, under the oceans.
Right. Did it actually kill them? Is it their spirits that still roam the earth and the oceans? Is it?
Yeah, could be. Well, I mean, they seem to be technological
Right.
craft. A lot of them do. Some of them are just like balls of light. You could
Mhm.
definitely say that's something
Well, I've read somewhere that
supernatural.
they can manipulate themselves to be what we vision them to be.
Yeah, I'm sure if they're, you know, still of this earth, that they could probably manipulate and change themselves however they wish.
Mm.
Especially if, maybe they did develop technology.
Right. Maybe they are robotic.
Could
And if
be.
you think about like what we talked about, uh, when we're talking about the different angels of God's choir, uh, they're kind of described as robotic as well.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them
So
sound almost technological, especially the one, the spinning. What was it? The Dominions that were like the spinning wheels.
no, that's just the saffron. Is it what it's called?
The Sephora.
Sword. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They were like these spinning wheels with an
Mm-hmm.
eyeball in the center.
Right.
That almost sounds like kind of technology, some kind of robotic device. So yeah, maybe some of them are kind of like robots. Some of them are still kind of humanoid like, still have flesh and blood and all that.
Could be a hybrid.
Yeah, there's endless possibilities,
Mhm.
really, when you start thinking about it. But one thing is for sure, there's something going on.
Well, and they also like if it's just their spirit or whatever, they can also manipulate humans as like a demonic. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, like
And
a bad influence.
read in the Bible that they can control like your government and things like that, like certain parts of the government. You think of how things
Yeah,
are going right now. They're influencing at least one side.
there you go.
So
Yeah, I mean,
and it's not hard to figure
yeah,
out which side that they are influencing because it seems like they're against God's ways.
yeah.
So
These could be negative
mhm.
spiritual beings, that don't exactly conform to the laws of our world, our understanding of physics and
Right.
things. And I still believe they're definitely going to have some kind of hand, some kind of role in the prophecies about the end of days.
Mm.
I 100% believe that.
Could very well be. And I feel again like the government knows about them and is not sharing with us, but I guess to protect us because our brains can't fully function absorb what's going on without being terrified
Yeah,
that they don't share it all with us.
yeah, that could be.
So this is all speculation.
Or maybe the
Yeah, we could
government.
just be crazy. We could be the
Yeah,
crazy one.
yeah, we
And
could
that's
be
why
the
a lot of
crazy
people
ones.
don't talk about it because they get assumed that they're just crazy.
Yeah, yeah. You don't hear too many people just rattling off this stuff, out on the street anyway.
Right.
I definitely think the government does know more. They may not be doing it necessarily to protect our fragile little minds as
Mhm.
much as they don't know what to do about it.
Right.
So they're just trying to ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist.
But there's been, people that's came forward and said, "This is what's going on."
But yeah,
So you can find that on the internet.
yeah,
So
yeah, there's dozens of people. They're like,
mhm.
hey, former, whatever military, I was involved in this project, and we were studying aliens and UFOs. That was something else I wanted to touch on was back in the 90s, early days of the internet. I think that it finally came out that this was all a hoax and it was basically done as kind of like a promotion, sparking interest in the X-Files,
Mhm.
but it was an alien autopsy. Do you remember this? This is like 96,
Mhm.
97.
Another reason I'm scared.
But yeah, they had supposedly had, this footage of an alien autopsy that was done at like Area 51 or something. and it looked so real. I remember watching that. I'm like 16 and I'm watching this autopsy. But to my mind at that time, that had to be real because it looked so real. But then, of course, several years later, find out, oh, that was all staged. It was all made up. So it's kind of easy to fool people. And especially in the world we live in today with all this AI stuff. I don't know how many AI videos that I come across every single day. And thankfully, for the most part, you can usually tell they're AI because of some, anomalies to the video or something. But I saw one the other day that, it was like this creepy, crazy looking alien on all fours, like creeping along the edge of a fence line, supposedly on a security camera. And they looked pretty darn convincing. But of course, you do some digging around, looking into it. And yeah, it was just somebody screwing around with a computer, made this extremely plausible, very believable AI creature and blended it almost seamlessly with security footage. So it's getting really hard
Right. No.
to determine, yeah, real from
Real from fake.
fake.
Yeah. I watched a TikTok with Tucker Carlson, and he was talking about this uh, neurologist. He's well known that studies the brain and things like that. And he has like patents and all this stuff. Really rich guy, very knowledgeable. Like I said, award winning. He came to him and wanted to talk about that he had observed and had been called by the government to come in and observe 100 servicemen that had been killed by a UFO.
Killed.
Yes, that you just basically zap their brains, and he had to go in and study their brains because they didn't really know what happened to them, and they didn't want to give them like pay for their medical or their death benefits or anything like that. And
Wow. So this is actual, were they shot with something? They're just,
no, it just had fried their brains
they
basically
they came in contact
with the
with
radiation.
a,
Right? They were, I guess, they were working around. I think this happened in Russia, maybe. I can't remember, but they were working around a nuclear plant, and so it seems like UFOs are attracted to nuclear
oh yeah.
areas.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And
sightings around nuclear
yeah,
facilities.
so and it came in contact with this UFO, and it kind of just fried their brains. But the government swears there's nothing about it, and he asked this doctor, he's like, why isn't this something on the front page? And he's like, I don't know why they don't want to discuss it.
So this guy studied the fried brains of 100 servicemen and is willing to talk about it. And the only person that listened was Tucker Carlson. Well, he was also on some other shows, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had talked to some other people about that, but he was like one of the first people he came to open
Right.
up about this.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
crazy.
I want to, you seem like you're on the same page as me and won't think that I'm crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it
Like I said, he's a really famous doctor.
covering something like that up. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you even explain it?
And there's there's lawsuits against the government to try and
Well,
get
I
these
would hope so.
benefits for
Yeah.
these men.
Yeah, refusing to pay their benefits
Hmm.
because they were in contact with something they didn't understand.
Right.
Yeah, that's messed up. So yeah, these craft were just like buzzing these facilities, nuclear facilities. And in some cases they were landing. And that's just like the one we mentioned at the beginning, the Rendlesham Forest incident in the UK, that the guy touched the craft and it like gave him some kind of jolt and knocked him into a coma
Hmm.
for a little while. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what was happening.
Because these
That's
guys
what
were just
was.
running up to it and being like, "What in the hell is this?" And
I mean, of course, you're gonna be like, What is this thing?"
once they would get so close or touch it, it was
Approach it,
zapping
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was frying their brains.
Hmm.
That is insane. We have a government that would, know about these things. They've been tracking these things and learning about these things for
Hmm.
80 years, and we have 100 servicemen that are injured or killed by these things.
And no reports of it.
Yeah,
Only. Yeah.
and nobody hears a word until this Harvard physician uh, decides to come out and start talking about it.
Well, no, the government asked him to come out and observe them and be like, "What's wrong?" Want
Right.
to know what's wrong with what happened to them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he was the one who,
Because he didn't believe in aliens or anything like that. He's like,
yeah.
it's not real until he's seen all these men.
He's like, holy crap.
So let's go back to earlier we were talking about that they were coming into the atmosphere and things like that, and we didn't catch them on the satellites and all that. Well, also the government is hiding that they've picked these up on sonar from submarines. Even Russia
Yeah.
and China have picked them up from their nuclear submarines under the water.
Yeah, I mean, there's just as many, if not more, instances of these things, going in and out of the water or traveling through the water
Right.
at ridiculous speeds.
At 500 plus knots into the water.
Yeah, that's just impossible. So we know for a fact that these things exist. They're there, but exactly what they are, who's in charge of them, who's piloting them, that's the big question. Like I said, they could be from space, they could be from another dimension, they could be supernatural, or they could be right here under our feet, or maybe even living amongst us.
So much. I need to just think they're in the sky and they can come through my front door. And I can protect myself.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little scary that, maybe it's not just every now and then visitation from a curious alien race from another planet.
Right.
Stopping in to see how far along humans have got. It might be something far more sinister right in our own oceans.
And, if you search the internet, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, things like that, people are sharing more pictures of them out on a cruise or they're out at the ocean on the beach and stuff. And they're taking pictures of these lights coming from the water. So there's evidence. There's evidence starting to be exposed.
Yeah, there's more and more. Everybody's got a cell phone on them.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's got a camera, video, and still shot. And they're, news of, hey, I just saw a UFO. You can, I mean, that'll travel fast.
Yeah.
Nowadays. You post that on social media, it'll be everywhere within just a few hours.
Yeah.
So you're right. Yeah, there's just more and more.
Right, and there's more
evidence.
Cameras. There's more cameras everywhere. Everybody has security cameras. They have their cell phones.
Yeah.
There's cameras at the stores and on the streets.
Yeah, every day
pointing towards the skies.
There's more surveillance. So we're catching more and more of these things. So maybe one day we will catch a peek of whatever's inside them.
Right.
Whatever kind of creatures might be piloting these things.
I don't want to know. Maybe it's clowns.
There's all kinds of different descriptions. The grays, you really don't like those.
It could be clowns.
But then in the case of the Kelly family, Hopkinsville, they were little green men and they were floating around.
So they were metallic looking.
Yeah.
And they had green like slime.
Yeah. So those sound really, really weird.
That sounds like nuclear, stuff. So.
And the two doc guys that supposedly got abducted by robotic looking creatures. I mean, there's so many different descriptions of these things. It's hard to really know what to think they might be.
We just live with speculation, so we won't really know. I don't ever think in this lifetime we'll ever know.
Maybe not. I'm just hoping that maybe they're friendly. But unfortunately, like I said, I've always had that feeling that somehow they're related to Revelations and the downfall of humanity. But that's just what we think. Be sure to let us know what you think. Like, share, comment on this episode. Give us any of your personal stories of some of the strange things you've seen in the sky or the water. Any alien encounters you might have had. Have you been abducted? You think you've been abducted?
I don't know. I act pretty weird sometimes. Okay.
If the aliens messed with your head just because you're weird?
Yeah.
You're just weird, honey.
Thanks.
But I love you. I love your weirdness. I hope you love mine. And we hope all of you have enjoyed this episode of Appalachia Not So Quiet. Be sure to listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcast, and iHeartRadio.
And be sure to follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and X.
That's right, all the social medias. And we'll have some information related to this episode up soon on TikTok and Facebook and all those places. Some cool alien photographs and things. And maybe some of the NASA pictures of 3-Eye Atlas. Make up your own mind. Definitely research these things no matter what we talk about. Research it and make up your own mind about it. We just like speculating and kind of forming our own ideas about these things. We're glad that all of you enjoy listening to us ramble on. Our listener count continues to climb. We're almost at the 1,400 mark now. So thank you, everyone out there, for listening to Appalachia Not So Quiet. I'm your host, Hillbilly Phantom.
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Till then, watch out for them boogers.